hereby given pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act, Vernon Annotated Civil Statute, Article 625217, that the city of Smithville will conduct a council meeting and public hearing on January 13th, 2025 at 6 p.m. at City Hall located at 317 Main Street, Smithville, Texas, 78957. I call the meeting to order. Invocation will be read by Jimmy Jenkins.
Bow your heads, please. Father, it's such a blessing to be here with our friends and family, our council, and everyone that has decided to attend this meeting. Please bless this meeting. Let us have open minds and open hearts. Let us do what we need to in your name and your will. We're so blessed to live in this town and live in a country where we have the right to speak and say what we want to. It's in your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Now we go into recognitions, award, proclamations, announcements, and presentations. Our first proclamation is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day 2025. Whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. dedicated his life to bringing about social, political, and economic equality for all Americans by non-violent means, devoted his life to the struggle for justice and equality, sowing seeds of hope for a day when all people might claim the riches of freedom and the security of justice, and challenged our nation to recognize that our individual liberty relies upon our common equality. And whereas at a time when our nation was sharply divided, Dr. King called on a generation of Americans to be voices of reason, sanity, and understanding amid the voices of violence, hatred, and emotion. And we must face today's challenges with the strength, persistence, and determination that he personified. And whereas the impact of Dr. King's contribution to civil rights are witnessed daily in the United States of America and throughout the world, and whereas downplaying the honors bestowed upon him, including the Nobel Peace Prize, Dr. King wanted most to be remembered as a servant to others. And whereas because of his accomplishments in civil rights, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed by an assassin on April 4th, 1968, at the age of 39 years of age. And whereas the Bastrop County MLK Jr. Holiday Commission was established in 1989 to revere, promote, and celebrate the legacy, actions, and the memory of this great American leader. And whereas the county judge and the mayors and the city councils of Bastrop, Elgin, and Smithville recognized Dr. King Jr. as a distinguished leader, orator, recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize, minister, prominent leader in the struggle for human and civil rights for all people, and truly a great American whose dream lives on after him in all of us. And whereas the President and Congress of the United States of America had declared the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as a national, state, and local holiday. And whereas the theme for the holiday is to celebrate, remember, and act on, not a day off. And we are called to engage in public service and promote nonviolent social change, so that Dr. King's unfinished movement toward equality can be achieved by our united, enduring in our efforts. Whereas funds raised by the Bastrop County Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Commission Scholarship Committee each year help students from Bastrop County pursue higher education, and all citizens are urged to join the Bastrop High School, the Smithville High School, Elgin High School, McDade High School, Cedar Creek High School, and Colorado River Collegiate Academy in supporting the scholarship program. Now therefore, I, Sharon Forrester, Mayor of City of Smithville, Texas, do hereby proclaim Monday, January 20th, 2025 as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And further urge all citizens to join with Bastrop County Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Commission in their work for a universal peace with justice, human rights, and social and economic process for all people, area churches, and other nonprofit organizations, and the cities of Smithville, Elgin, and Bastrop, as well as all the school districts and the entirety of Bastrop County to recognize and celebrate the works of this truly remarkable American. And I am hereby witness, I hereby set my hand and cause the official seal of the City of Smithville, Texas to be affixed this 13th day of January 2025. And we have an MLK gathering in Bastrop on January the 20th. It starts at 10 a.m. I have a note here somewhere. It starts the walk will begin at Paul Quinn African Methodist Episcopal Church at 10 a.m. And from there, we'll head to the Bastrop Convention and Exhibit Center where the celebration will kick off at 11 a.m. And everybody is invited. Thank you. The next proclamation is It's Texas Time. And Kathy Meeks, will you please read our proclamation?
Does that mean we have to get up off the couch now?
Got to get off the
Okay,
couch, sister.
got it.
Got to log it in and your water. Don't forget your water.
City of Smithville proclamation recognizing the It's Time Texas Community Challenge. Whereas the health and wellness of the citizens of Smithville are vital to the strength and prosperity of our community. And whereas the It's Time Texas Community Challenge is an annual statewide initiative that encourages communities, schools, organizations, and individuals to engage in healthier lifestyles and adopt habits that improve overall well-being. And whereas the City of Smithville has proudly participated in the It's Time Texas Community Challenge, achieving remarkable success by winning the challenge for 7 consecutive years. And whereas this achievement has fostered a culture of health within our city, helping team members and residents alike to stay active, develop healthier habits, and strengthen community bonds through shared participation. And whereas the challenge provides an exceptional opportunity for residents, schools, businesses, and community organizations to unite in friendly competition, support one another's health journeys, and promote positive change for generations to come. And whereas Smithville's participation in this challenge reflects the city's commitment to improving quality of life and addressing health inequities for all residents. Now therefore, I, Sharon Forrester, Mayor of the City of Smithville, do hereby proclaim Smithville's enthusiastic support for the 2025 It's Time Texas Community Challenge. I encourage all residents, schools, businesses, and organizations to participate in this impactful initiative and take steps towards healthier living. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of the City of Smithville to be affixed this 13th day of January 2025 at 6 p.m. Smithville City Hall, Smithville, Texas.
Thank you. Jimmy Jenkins, will you please lead us in Fair Housing Month proclamation?
Whereas Title VIII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, as amended, prohibits discrimination in housing and declares it a national policy to provide within constitutional limits for fair housing in the United States. And whereas the principle of fair housing is not only national law and national policy, but a fundamental human concept and entitlement for all Americans. And whereas the National Fair Housing Law during the month of December provides an opportunity for all Americans to recognize the complete success and the goal of equal housing opportunity can only be accomplished with the help and cooperation of all Americans. Now, therefore, we, the City Council of Smithville, do proclaim December as Fair Housing Month in the City of Smithville and do therefore and thereby urge all citizens of this locality to become aware of and support the fair housing law. In witness thereof, we affix our signatures and seal on this 13th day of January, 2025.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from December 9th, 2024 council meeting and public hearing.
Mayor, I make to approve the minutes for December the 9th, 2024 for the council meeting and public hearing.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. All in favor? It is approved. Next item is the public comment. Jennifer?
Yes, I have Christian Palacios.
I think I'm on now. Oh, wow. That sounds great. So, Mayor, Council, the great people of Smithville, my name is Christian Palacios. I am a field representative from the office of Congressman Michael Cloud. I just want to say how grateful I am to be here. I come here today before you to introduce myself and kind of let you know about what Congressman Cloud's office does. So I know it says 2 minutes, but I'm gonna probably use an hour of your time. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. But no, so if you're dealing with any federal agencies, especially the constituents here, if you're dealing with the IRS, immigration, Social Security, any problem like that, we'd be more than happy to help you. So feel free to reach out. I do have some cards here I will give y'all after it's over with. But as for the council members and the mayor, city manager, city secretary, etc., if you have any grants that you're working on, or if you need help finding any grants, we can also help out with that as well. If you have a grant that you're currently applying for that's federal, we can also do a letter of support. So honestly, Congressman Cloud's office is open to you. We want to make sure that y'all are being heard, that y'all are being fully supported. So if there's any way we can, be a part of the great city of Smithville, we'd love to. So this is me reaching out to y'all. So if it's okay with y'all, I'd love to give y'all my card now, if that's all right. And that's all I have to say. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for coming and sharing those words of wisdom. We appreciate you. Oh, I meant to call. Thank you.
Next, I have Janice Bruno.
There- Hi, Janice.
Oh. Okay, good evening, council members, Mayor Forrester. This is just, my name is Janice Bruno, 800 Burleson Street, Smithville. Also the executive director for the Smithville, used to be Smithville Workforce Training Center, now Career Tracks. I'm here tonight just to go ahead and give you guys a thank you. I really appreciated the mayor doing her remarks the other day and the full city council coming out to do the groundbreaking, which is very exciting. And if you haven't been by there today, of course, as Robert promised in his city manager update that they would break ground, they actually came on Friday. John and I think it was, I can't remember the guy that's going to be living in that little hut that's out there. I told him you can come in every time to time and have a cup of coffee. But anyway, today they made incredible progress. I said to Alan Butler, I go, oh my God, these guys are fast. They, they quit right at 5 o'clock, but we're committing to you. We went ahead and set up a camera. So we're putting it on the spot, and every day we're filming. So we'll have a time lapse at the end of 150. And every day I remind the John, who's there, I go, you got 150 days. That's what it says in the contract. But I just wanted to say thank you for approving that extra $250K. That was fantastic. I mean, we wouldn't have been able to do this without the city council approving that funding. And I know we're going to have some great things that are going to happen here in the future. So I just wanted to say thank you. And hopefully next month I'll be able to give you a full overview of exactly what Career Tracks is doing on a, day-to-day basis. So thank you very much.
Thank you for all your hard work also, and we appreciate you. Next.
I have Kristen Merriweather.
Hello, council. I'm a writer, not a speaker, so this should be interesting. I am a journalist here locally in town. I've lived here about 3 years, and I think it was when Council Member Bruno was actually up here on the council. I was talking about doing this, and then I got really sick, and then it didn't happen. Over the last couple months, as I've talked to different people around town, there seems to be a need for a news agency here in the city. I don't think it's anything that you guys are not doing something. I think it's that you guys are putting out what you are required to, and the citizens need it done or said to them in a news matter. I think there's been a lot of questions that have been asked, and I think that's kind of what I'm looking to do. So I think if you want to go to, the news agency is called SmithvilleTexasNews.com. This is a minimally viable product. So if you go to SmithvilleTexasNews.com, we have a landing page, and I am telling everybody that I'm coming to this meeting. And I will have a newsletter. That newsletter will go out tomorrow. That'll talk about what you guys did and passed today. And we're also on Twitter, which I found out everybody in this community is on Facebook instead, which is okay. I do not use Facebook, mostly due to censorship, but I will, now that there's been other things that have come about, I will certainly reconsider. But I think the main point of what the objective of this is to allow people to understand what a lot of the legal documents and like some of the stuff that's in the agenda. It's really hard as a citizen if you've never been to a council meeting to know, hey, what does this mean? Do I want to speak on this or not? So my primary objective is to get things into normal people speak, outside of government speak, and then to ask tough questions. I hope that all of us can have a good relationship, a good working relationship. Any questions that I'm asking more often than not are going to be because people are asking me, probably similar to what you guys have to deal with. If anybody wants to reach out, I am at Kristen, Kristen, at SmithvilleTexasNews.com. We are on the Twitter at News Smithville, and I am not on Facebook yet. We will start with those two platforms and see what happens. Q2, assuming we make it to Q2, which I'm hoping we will, I will open everything up for a town hall type meeting, and I will figure out what you guys want to make the publication viable and successful and sustainable. So I look forward to serving you.
Thank you. You're a great speaker. Who's next?
That's it for the public comment.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is here recommendations from planning and zoning. Garrett Gutierrez, it's your time to shine.
Good evening, council and citizens of Smithville. My name is Garrett Gutierrez. I'm the chairman of the City of Smithville Planning and Zoning Commission. We had 4 agenda items that we looked at last week. First one, agenda item A on your agenda packet. On a zoning change from single family SF1 to highway commercial C3 for the Born Again Emporium. Property ID 16794, legal description, Faith Acres, Lot 1, 2.001 acres, 1642 Northeast Loop 230, Smithville, Texas, 78957. Property owners, Born Again Emporium, agent Susan Guidry. So every December meeting, we brought this property in. They asked for annexation. It was granted. But any new property coming into the city of Smithville is zoned SF1. So this zoning change request to a commercial C3 just puts the building into the zoning class that it really belongs in, especially with its location. So no citizen comments on that one, and it was voted on unanimously to approve that zoning change. Item 7B, on a minor replat dividing one lot into 2 for the property at 700 Northeast First Street, property ID 616806, abstract A6 Lomas L.633 acres, property owner Edward LeVue, agent Jill Nahar. On this property, they're splitting off a very small piece, a triangle. There is no minimum lot size requirements for the zoning class that this property sits in, which is the general industrial district. It was pointed out to Ms. Nahar that, you know, whatever comes in there, I believe she said it was a food trailer, but they will need to have some sort of parking, just to give them a heads up for the future if this was to pass, that, you know, you have to consider that whenever you put something on that property, that they wouldn't be able to park in the middle of First Street. This is well passed unanimously to approve the replat. Any, I guess I didn't ask on the first one. Any questions on the first or second item? All right, the next two items kind of go hand in hand, but they're separate on the agenda. So first one's on a variance request to have 5-foot side yard setbacks instead of 7.5 foot for 1-story and a 10-foot setback for 2-story homes for all residential lots in the enclave at Riverbend subdivision. Property ID 8725657. Legal description ABS A16 Burleson, Edward 34.858 acres. Property owner Smithfield Land Partners LLC, agent Bethany Ross. As you can imagine, this one brought up quite a bit of conversation. There were some concerns with going with the smaller lots that are the smaller lot lines, that there would be issues for fire suppression, of course. Then, you know, it was said that they were wanting to do this to have variations in their building platforms that they could have, you know, to offer more variety. It was pointed out by a member of the commission that there were 61% of the lots were greater than 6,500 square foot, which is the minimum square footage that's required for a residential lot and the zoning class SF1. All in all, the council or the commission did not feel that the granting this kind of variance to every lot in the subdivision would keep in practice with the rule and the ordinance. And we voted to turn that one down. Voted no on that one, unanimously no. There were a few citizen comments on that. One was concerned about drainage, and we told them that that wasn't necessarily the meeting for that, but that stuff does get looked at and plans should be submitted. One other thing that was pointed out that came off of that was with the more coverage on the lots, would that change their plan for what they had for impervious cover, which was answered no, that there's essentially fluff put into their plan. So, and on the variance to, on item D, kind of plays into what I was just talking about. On a variance request for 50% maximum lot coverage variance instead of a 40% lot coverage for all residential lots in the Enclave Riverbend subdivision, property ID 8725657. Legal description ABS A16 Burleson Edward, 34.85 acres, property owner Smithfield Land Partners, agent Bethany Ross. A lot of the same questions that for the first item were about all the questions that were asked. Very little conversation about this one. The main thing was, once again, like I had mentioned, the impervious cover, and that supposedly not changing based off of that. Another thing to note about these two items was when it originally came for the plat approval, it was stated to every one of us in our planning and zoning meeting that there would be only single-story houses. This item C brings into play 2-story houses, which weren't mentioned before. Any questions on either one of those items?
I have a couple of questions, Garrett.
Don't grill me too hard.
Pardon me?
Don't grill me too hard.
Oh, no. This may not even be a question for you, but our ordinance states that lot coverage is by all buildings on the lot. So is the impervious cover increase referencing the building alone, or does that include sidewalks and driveways and patios in terms of the amount of impervious cover in that 50%? Or is it just just the structure?
I don't
Our
know.
ordinance says
That,
all buildings on the lot. So I was just curious because, I mean,
It's all buildings in the lot. The sidewalk is in street right away.
well,
Everything's impervious, right?
everything that's impervious on the lot.
Correct.
Okay, okay, yeah,
driveway, sidewalk, all that
yeah.
for the clarification.
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. It's, I mean, the developer has met all the provisions of our ordinance, obviously, but and then I'm sure he didn't run any additional data, but with an additional 10% impervious cover, it's a little bit concerning to me about the runoff, the additional runoff perhaps, and is there any adverse effect to the neighbors? I mean, when you're putting more impervious cover there, and the way our houses are in this city, we don't have any freeboard on our houses unless they're in the special flood hazard area, and these are not. However, over 35% of claims made to NFIP are outside the high-risk flood zone. So you have to really address your drainage, and this isn't really a conversation for tonight, but I'm concerned that we need to start looking at higher standards for our subdivisions with eventually our watershed is going to be more fully developed. I mean, we have a lot of rural property now, but I don't mean to get off topic. It's just, this is a concern to me, the drainage aspect.
So as far as, like I had stated, as far as the Planning and Zoning Commission, that question was asked. There was a citizen that was concerned about that as well. Wasn't necessarily what we were in there to discuss that night, but as far as making our decision on the vote, that question was asked to the developer, and as I stated, the answer is when they originally do their study, there's some fluff added in there that would essentially take care of this. As far how factual that is, I'm not an engineer to be able to tell you one way or the other, but I stated on record that's what it was.
Councilmember Meeks, let me give you some additional information. During the construction review of the plans, this is an item that will be verified by a third party, whether or not the 50% indeed is going to create a problem that requires them to increase the depth of the detention pond. There is a factor of safety in most drainage calculations and analyses that provides for 125% of the anticipated flow. So short answer, there's a gatekeeping function outside of the variance and the platting process that is caught during the construction design review of the plans for all the infrastructure. So that's something we'll be looking at very closely.
Any further questions?
I'm sorry, did y'all vote for or against D?
C and D were voted unanimously against.
Okay, thank you.
If there's nothing else, I'll take my seat.
Thanks, Garrett. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Garrett. You did a great job running the meeting. We'll go into the public hearing. Jennifer, we have anybody signed up to speak?
Yes, I have Brandon Dunham.
Hello, there you are.
Hello, everyone. Came to talk mainly about the item C and D, just frankly opinions on it based on everything everybody's campaigned on. Discussions about growth in the city, removing barriers, removing obstacles. To see something that frankly a 5-foot setback is commonplace in our community. SF2 is actually a 5-foot setback. Most of the south side is SF2. So we already have that in place in this community. For us to now tell a developer who is trying to establish 112 households, which at a conservative 375,000 home value is adding $250,000 a year tax base to the city, whenever we're struggling to find $100,000. These kind of things are things we need to think about. And as these communities are trying to establish, as these subdivisions are trying to come in, what are we doing to make it more difficult to them? What are we doing that's going to make them want to do a PUD instead of other methods of being annexed by the city and contributing more tax base? So, thanks.
Okay. I will close the public hearing and go back into the open meeting. Council discussion and action on on a zone change from single family SF1 to highway commercial C3 for the Born Again Emporium property ID 16794, legal description, Faith Acres, Lot 1, 2.001 acres, 1642 Northeast Loop 230, Smithville, Texas, property owners Born Again Emporium, agent Susan Guidry. Council, have any questions?
Would you entertain a motion?
Yes, sir.
Mayor, I move that we approve the zone change from SF1 to Highway Commercial C3 for the Born Again Emporium, property ID 16794, legal description, Faith Acres, Lot 1, 2.001 acres, 1642 Northeast Loop 230, Smithville, Texas 78957. Property owners Born Again Emporium, agent Susan Guidry.
Motion's been made and second. All in favor? Motion is approved. On a minor replat dividing one lot into two for the property at 700 Northeast First Street, property ID 16806, abstract A46 Lomas, L, 0.633 acres, property owner Edward G. Lavu, agent Jill Nahar. Sorry about that. Anybody have any questions? Discussion? Motion?
You want a motion?
Yes, sir.
Move we approve the minor replat dividing one lot into two for the property at 700 Northeast First Street, property ID 16806, abstract 846 Lomas, 0.633 acres, owned by Ted LaVue.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. All in favor? 1, 2, is approved. On a variance request to have a 5-foot side yard setback instead of a 7.5 foot for a 1-story home and a 10-foot setback for a 2-story home for all residential lots in the enclave at Riverbend subdivision, property ID 8725657, legal description ABS A16 Burleson, Edward, 34.858 acres, property owner Smithville Land Partners LLC, agent Bethany Ross. Council have any discussion?
Go ahead,
Thank you, Mayor. These are a little bit more controversial, and I'm probably at an advantage to many of you because I had the pleasure of attending the P&Z meeting, and I want to applaud the work that was done by Commissioner Gutierrez and all of the commissioners, the chair, and particularly Commissioner Kilgore. I think you did an outstanding job with your homework. So a lot of great questions were asked and very frank conversation. I think Todd's here. Yeah. Thank you for being open and honest with your representations there. One of the things that I learned from it was that this is not necessarily a deal killer. So Mr. Dunham, I appreciate your concerns. I think that some of the details lent us to understand that they will be able to put a larger product. It's a 35-foot product for those of you. This is getting into the details of what all of this meant by decreasing the setbacks or decreasing the setbacks would allow for a wider product or a larger product. And a mass producer, a mass builder that seems to be on board for this project to be sold to, they have a product that they can place there. And the concerns that I've received from the citizens and quite a few, there's a lot of opinions about this, is that they're looking for a variability in the appearance, particularly at what is perceived to be the gateway into Smithville. I think that that variability can be achieved by looking at the front setbacks and requiring either alternate lot or a minimum number of, say, 4 or 5 different front setbacks, which might vary the appearance versus having a straight line. If you look down a block and all of the front portions of the houses are all the same, and you can say, I mean, that's the definition of a cookie cutter approach. And that's the biggest concern that has been raised to me. So I just wanted to put that on the record and appreciate the discussion that took place and particularly Mr. McCullough's willingness to answer all of that honestly. So, thank you.
Mayor, I have just a couple comments. I think it's been almost 3 years since we did the annexation on this one. Does that sound right? You know, in my mind, the die was cast on this deal 3 years ago when we agreed to annex the property. When you annex property in Smithville, it comes in as SF1. We have a set of development codes and restrictions that are applicable to SF1. I would agree with my colleague, Councilmember Jameson. Todd is a very respected developer in Central Texas. He has maintained from the very beginning that he wants to do something that is good for Smithville, but also obviously works economically. He's never pretended to cram anything down to the citizens. In this particular case, I think there's 2 things that are going to happen this week, tonight and then on Wednesday. Tonight's action, I don't think has a big impact on whether the project happens or whether the project is an economic success. I have previously stated on the record the respect and deference that I think is owed to the Planning and Zoning Commission. And so when the P&Z conducts what I think is thoughtful and reasoned consideration, deliberation, and especially if they come back with unanimous vote, it would have to be an overwhelmingly compelling reason to override that. So I don't intend to do that. But Wednesday night's event is much more of an economic driver behind whether this subdivision gets done. And to Brandon's point, I do think that economic development, making the pie bigger for the citizens, is a critically important initiative that the city needs to stay, laser focused on. Otherwise, between inflation and depreciation of infrastructure, all of the citizens are going to end up every year having to pay more in property taxes and utility fees and trash fees. So we have got to find a way to make the pie bigger, to put more heads on beds, which can support more businesses, which pay more sales tax and spread utility costs. I really believe that that is the direction. So I'm a supporter of this proposal. I'm not going to be a supporter of the variance.
Anybody else have anything you would like to add? Any other discussion? Commissioner McCullough, would you like to come forward, please?
Mayor, Council.
Thank you.
Todd McCullough. Yes, thank you, Smithville Land Partners partner. Thank you for the discussion tonight, and I also want to commend the Planning and Zoning Department for their efforts. I think we submitted this variance kind of as a blanket variance. We thought, frankly, that it was in our mind it was benefiting the city in the sense that we were going to be able to get more variability, bigger houses, possibly more property taxes for this. For us as the developers, it makes no difference. We don't make another dime. So really, it was coming forward with that, and we thought it would be something that would go on through. But there was legitimate concerns, and we appreciate the concerns that were brought up and tried to address those. But we got back with our engineer immediately when we got back the next day and started talking about what we could do to maybe address some of the concerns. I know there were other concerns besides the blanket variance concept, but we did want to address that the best that we could. So we went back, had our engineer get this exhibit for you, and I know this is kind of last minute because he just got it emailed it to us at 4 o'clock on our way here. So we got it to you, and we appreciate you printing it out. But what this shows is that when we really break it down lot by lot, there's 24 lots that don't need to be any variance. Either a 40-foot product already fits on it, or it's just going to be a 35-foot product, period. That's the way it's going to be. There are 36 lots that would require a 5-foot setback, like where we're asking, that would allow us for a 40-foot product. Then there are 54 lots that we would just need a half a foot variance, meaning instead of 7.5-foot setbacks, we just need 7-foot setbacks. That would get us the ability to put 40-foot product on this. So with that in mind, I don't know what that means if we need to, that's consideration for you, if we need to come back and resubmit that and try that again. But that's something to consider. We wanted to address that. We also wanted to address, there was some citizen comments about concern about flooding. We talked to our engineer. What Robert said is absolutely correct. There is fluff built in there, but we said we want to make sure that's going to be vetted out. But we said, are we in compliance right now with what we had? Yes. But he went ahead and made a slight adjustment to the plans right now to allow for less. You're probably familiar, but there's a law that you can't, whatever improvement you make on your land, you can't make it where water goes to the neighbors in any faster rate than it did before any development. So we asked our engineer to ensure that that was the case, and to also add a little more fluff. So he actually adjusted the pond slightly. So now any kind of runoff that goes that way will be actually less than what it was previous to the development.
I definitely appreciate that, because the blanket variance was definitely the biggest.
Understand.
I was at the meeting also, and going back and looking at it and doing this, if you do decide that, it will give you a chance to explain why you want those, and moving forward, make a better product for the people that are coming to town.
And that's really what is the bottom line, is we're hoping to make that a little bit nicer. I mean, I think I expressed at the P and Z meeting that when you're talking about a 40-foot, really a garage is 20 feet wide essentially. So when you're talking about a 35-foot product, the garage door takes up over half of and so it just looks better when you've got that 5 more feet allows you for more elevation things to do and happen. But when you're 35, it's kind of like a garage door and then a front door, and you can't do a lot with that. When you add that extra 5, that gives you just some more flexibility, variability. So that's really where we're coming from. It's not again, for us, it doesn't make a difference. We're selling the lots to the builder for the same price. It's giving that builder variability, flexibility to meet the end user. And I did want to make clear, I think if it was on record that we said that only 1-story building houses were going to be built, that may have been the case. The builder has come back and said, is there any way is that going to be a restriction? Can we build 2-story houses if there are people that want 2-story houses? So again, they just want some flexibility. So they're asking for that. I think that's all I had. Any questions that I can answer for you?
Mayor, if I may, thank you very much. And I think this is tending to render this variance request moot with the commitments that you're making. I've been involved in this since 2022, and I've never been opposed to this project. We need this project, and we need the heads and beds and the increased opportunity for sales tax and property tax revenue and people shopping in town. The concerns that I continue to hear from the community are about the appearance, because it's the gateway. So I'm hearing you say you're willing to make some commitments there. We kind of had one in the past that was a little nebulous and non-enforceable, but are they willing? Are you willing to commit to? And I'm open to any suggestions in terms of the variability of the aesthetics of it. Is the front lot setback an opportunity? Does that lend to decreasing the cookie cutter appearance? Is it something that y'all can do? I don't know if you've got room. I mean, the width was the issue because of the size of the product, but in terms of the depth, if we alternated lots or something, and I don't want to put a burden on you that can't be achieved. I'm asking this.
Well, I think one of the problems with that is one of the reasons that we asked for the 50% as well, is to be able to do that, because we got to be able to fit a house within that. And so when you reduce that setback further, you're effectively reducing your impervious cover, so it makes it more difficult to fit the house on. Now, we're not talking about 1 or 2 elevations throughout this. They're going to be, I can't commit. I'm not the builder, and I asked them to come tonight and they weren't able to make it, but they will be happy to be here and answer questions for the council as well. But there will be a number of elevations that will be different. So you're not going to be looking down and seeing the same house, down a row. That's just, that's not the way they operate. But we certainly can put restrictions on, you can't put two houses that are the same elevation next to one another. That's certainly restrictions that we're willing and I'm sure the builder would be willing to accept as well.
And they're probably, I'm sorry, just
Go ahead.
one final comment, because I'm sure that we'll get into this discussion Wednesday on the special meeting with the Public Improvement District. There's some opportunity there, I think, if that were to move forward, that we can do some things like, I don't know if you do it through deed restrictions or what other process, but in terms of the green space or requiring a minimum number of trees to be planted, things like that, that can give us that variety, then we can get into that at that point. Okay.
Certainly.
I just want to understand protocol. If we were to consider a shift from blanket variances to some sort of more specific, does that go back through P and Z again?
What do you think?
According to my ordinance, it says whatever is the exhibits in my ordinance. And if you wanted to use this, if you wanted to put that in your motion, that you base it off of this, and he can't change it from this, you could do that. I said, my ordinance says that, it's pertinent to what is my exhibit, which is his P and Z application. If we wanted to add this, I think that, and he couldn't go from this, it's built to this standard. We could do that.
And you did address the corner lot side yard setback
Those have never changed.
of 15 versus 5.
Those have never changed, Mr. Campbell. We continue to have those 15-foot setbacks on the corner lots for the site distance.
And
That was a
that's
concern
reflected-
brought up. That will not apply to this on the sides. The side setbacks on the corner lots continue to be 15 feet.
And that's reflected in this exhibit.
That's correct.
Is it inappropriate? We have 3 of the P and Z meetings in the audience, maybe more. Is it inappropriate? We have 4. Is it inappropriate to ask them to comment as to what their individual thoughts are relative to this proposal? Or is it not permitted without being posted? Would that constitute quorum for P and Z?
This is new territory. Maybe
Yeah, I'm sorry, council. We really,
Not asking you.
no, I'm just saying, I'm sorry that we threw this
No, it's okay.
our engineer got this he was working hard and tried to get this to us as quickly as.
I'm not comfortable with it, with these I mean, if we move forward with, say, a denial and then came back and reword it, I'd like some more time to hear back from the public here, because I'm not comfortable with.
And I would agree. That was where I was going with this, is my opening statement was, I think because I know that meeting was very thoughtful and reasoned, well-researched, unanimous, I would not be comfortable, granting it without understanding if you felt differently about it. So whether you could do it here or did it another time.
Robert, how about could we table and put this off the agenda for right now? Have it go back through with you said there were some minor setbacks that you needed changed on a few of the lots?
No, I'm saying that exhibit shows what lots specifically
Okay.
would need what setbacks to get us where we could put 40-foot product on just about everything. There are a few lots that are going to have 35 no matter what we do.
Are we really tabling this? It's not going to be presented. We're either going to turn it down or we're going to withdraw it.
Yeah, or withdraw.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Because
what I
it's
meant.
a totally different deal if we go back through. So we're not.
Okay, withdrawing if,
Okay, let's.
I'm
Unless
okay with
unless the applicant wants to withdraw
Okay to
it. If he wants to withdraw
Okay,
it.
so for guidance going forward, you would resubmit a variance application with very much more specific detail that matches this exhibit.
yes,
We in turn would notify the public and go through that process again.
right.
I'm happy to make a motion to deny both of these. Do I need?
Can-
Okay.
Any more questions for me?
I do believe if, and I don't quote me on this, but if you deny a variance, you can't come back for 6 months to a year.
I think we need to withdraw it. I think the applicant needs to.
So-
What is your, please,
I think he can withdraw it and then, that.
and then okay, so he can withdraw it and then bring it back.
Catch.
That's the path of least resistance.
That's a great catch. A year is not going to work.
Huge, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to delay this for a year. We need to procedurally protocol make this
So
right.
now it's back in your court.
No, I think it would be good to withdraw. Yes.
So we just need to state that item C, do I need to read it or any? Okay, item C, no action taken, withdrawn. Withdrawn by the developer, and D will follow suit.
Well,
Okay.
Do you want to
Thank you.
on D or not?
Oh, do we need discussion on D, or are we gonna,
I think I addressed
we're gonna withdraw both?
some, but yes.
Read them or
If you
anything?
had any questions about D, I'd be happy to respond to those as well.
Todd is.
And we have the engineer also did calculations to show on the pond too, but I didn't want to bore you with calculations.
Is VR going to be here Wednesday? You think they're reps?
They said they would.
Thanks.
Okay, then I think we're good. You're good. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, and I'll see you Wednesday.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so we're on to number 12.
Sure. Number 12, yes.
Discussion and action on an appointment, reappointment of members to the Smithville Airport Advisory Board.
Hey, Mayor-
Mr.
Do you have somebody?
Council, this is something we do every year. There are 7 members on the Airport Advisory Board. 4 members are elected in even numbered years. 3 are appointed, not elected. In odd number years, the 4 individuals that are up for reappointment are Sandy Meyerson, who's the current chairman of the Airport Advisory Board, Forrest Sanderson, Johnny Briggs, and Ron Spencer. Their applications are in your packet for consideration. And these guys have been doing and hopefully will continue to do a great job.
I do have somebody that signed up to speak.
Oh, okay.
Carol Jackson. No? Okay.
I thought, Carol, you bought a plane. Okay, so no one signed up for this one then? Very good. Any discussion? Entertain a motion? It's pretty straightforward.
You want me to go, Mayor?
Yes.
I move that we approve the reappointment of Sandy Meyerson, Forrest Sanderson, Johnny Briggs, and Ron Spencer to the Airport Advisory Board. Second.
Motion's been made and second. All in favor? 1, 2, it is approved. Number 13, discussion and action on an ordinance amending section 1.11 Division 2, Airport Rules and Regulations.
That may be 1.7. Oh, that's the ordinance. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so airport rules and regulations, we did back in 2017. A lot's changed within the FAA. We wanted to reflect those changes, and Mr. Sandy Meyerson, the Airport Advisory Board Chairman, as well as our Airport Operations Manager, helped me update these rules and regulations. We wanted to add reference to the Airport Operations Manager. As you all know, I've been operating at the capacity of airport manager as a function of my role as city manager. But last year, when we knew we were getting the airport fuel concession, I contracted with Mr. Sandy to help me have boots on the ground. So he actually manages the fuel concession, which, by the way, since March of last year, we've profited or had revenue of over $10,000 for selling fuel at the airport. So he's a wonderful boots on the ground guy, and he can answer any questions that you may have with respect to the rules and regulations. One other piece of information, we also purchased and installed something called VirTower. It's a virtual air control tower that keeps track of who comes in and who leaves on an hourly basis, or actually by the minute. 13,570 some odd landings and takeoffs have occurred at that airport since March of last year. So definite asset to the community.
And Sandy mentioned today when I spoke with him that he was busy all day. A lot of planes were coming in refueling. The weather was perfect for flying, and we have the greatest gas price around. So thank you. And he's going to take some pictures and share with us. Sandy, would you just come up here and introduce yourself for people that do not, so people will know your face? You can always find him at the airport. Oh, you can always find him at the airport working hard, so. Oh, make sure your mic's on. There you go. Please introduce yourself.
How about that? I'll take a minute just to thank Robert for all of his assistance, which then flows over to all you guys because I know what we do out there wouldn't happen with y'all's support. I'm a member of the Texas Airport Council. I go to meetings every month, represent the city. And there's a lot of people talking about Smithville all over the state. And I'm talking about large airports and small airports. But part of it is they took notice when we started the fuel concession. And there's a app that people have on their phone called ForeFlight. And that app gives weather, fuel pricing, it does flight planning, it does everything because it's just like GPS. Years ago, when I became a pilot 50 years ago, we didn't have anything like that. And now all these young people and even older guys like myself that fly have the ability to source this on their phone. And if you go and you look at ForeFlight and there's a comment section, just like every other kind of app, you look and periodically I'll do a screenshot and send it to Robert just to show him what people say. Because 75% of the people that fly in here know that we have courtesy cars because it's listed there and on all the other pilot websites. They take those courtesy cars and they come in town and they go eat, they shop, they go bring their wives, significant others, go up and down Main Street and check out what all's here. Several people, a pilot today and his buddy came in from Illinois, stopped here because they saw the fuel price on their phone and they wanted to know where to go eat. So I've now generated a list that I can just hand them and say, what kind of food do you want? And then here's where you go. The only problem I have is when I tell them one of our best places is the hospital. I got to talk to John Chabot about kind of doctoring that up. But
I run into that.
we've got all the other great places too. And then, you know, with Sweet Tea Cafe and Bubby's Barbecue and, you know, here comes more new places. So long story short, I want to tell y'all, thank you for your support because every city manager, airport manager that I talk to, it's the same thing. If they don't have a council that believes in the value of the aviation system throughout the state, and TxDOT, our aviation system is so much better than the rest of the country's. The support, the financial support, the grants we get, you know, this year we're going to be changing out all the lighting to LED from the Beacon Tower to all the runway lights. Next year, we're going to extend the parallel taxiway, which is a safety item. That will be finished. And then hopefully the following year or the next, we'll be extending the runway. And I have a lot of pilots come in, commercial pilots that are corporate, flying jets and King Airs and turboprops. And they really need that extra length for their, it's not they can't land in 4,000 feet, but their insurance requirement. So a lot of these guys, like the guy that owns Buc-ee's, I won't go into details, but they bring their jet in and land there and, you know, they're not concerned about insurance. But a lot of other people that are financially conscious, it's an issue. So with that, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. I know a lot of the stuff that we deal with is foreign to you guys, but
I appreciate all the hard work you put into it. Thank you, Robert, for your hard work. And I just want people to meet you and have your enthusiasm that you
sure,
have toward the airport because you do have a lot of enthusiasm.
yeah.
Thank you.
Don't forget the fly-in is always
Oh,
second
yes.
Saturday in May.
Second Saturday in May. And if you have never been, you have got to put it on your calendar. So many planes come in. It's really grown. We have a lot of people come out and serve food and it's a great day for families.
Yeah, it's a big deal for Smithville.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sandy, all we need now is that Airport Haven restaurant out there
Oh,
with
you
the
are-
hamburgers and the old-fashioned soda fountain.
You
I
have
told you. You
Called
bet.
The Beacon is what it's going to be called.
the
Airport
beacon,
Haven.
For Haven.
which needs
Haven burgers.
finding. Thank you. I forgot where we were. Do we have to vote on?
13, yeah, you got to approve the.
I need a motion.
Mayor, I move that we approve the ordinance amending section 1.11 Division 2 Airport Rules and Regs.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been made and second. All in favor? 1, 2, it is approved. Number 14, discussion and action on appointment to the Bastrop County Public Health Advisory Board. Do you want to talk about this?
That's fine.
That's
That's
Jimmy.
yours.
Yeah, this advisory board, came out of the task force, for the Bastrop County Public Health Department. The task force developed, the, rules and regulations that the, health department would run. And after, in the next, we have one more meeting with the task force, and then the advisory board will be appointed and they will take over for it. And they will be appointed from the cities once a year. The county's gonna have them staggered so that there's no all new people coming on all at
One
once.
time.
They will always have some, people there that have been there for a while. So we have 3 applicants, that are, on this for consideration and vote tonight. And the applicants that are not, the 2 applicants that are not elected they will be furthered on to the commissioner's court and have another chance at the commissioner's court to be elected onto the board. So we're kind of getting 2 shots at this, if you could say. So the three of them candidates are Adriana Esser. I think I said that right. Did I not? Okay, excellent. Rob Schreiner and Cassidy Penn. There are things that the council has been given to, see how these people measure and what they do and rules and regs and stuff for that, but we won't go into that. The council will make the vote to do this. Any questions or anything?
I will say that, I read through all of these, as I'm sure my colleagues did, as has been the case in many other board or appointment positions. There are no unqualified people. I'm glad to hear that the applicants that don't make it will go on to the county. And my recommendation is based solely on just reviewing the applications and talking to several of the references.
Mhm.
So I'd like to propose or make the motion that we approve Cassidy Penn for the position.
I can second that.
Motion has been made and second for Cassidy Penn. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4 opposed? 1 opposed. Thank you. Welcome, Cassidy.
Mhm.
Next item is discussion and action on a resolution regarding the civil rights policies for the GLO Community Development Block Grant Mitigation CDBG MIT Method of Distribution MOD Program Contract 24065-102E834.
Okay, Mayor and Council and citizens, this was a grant that we applied for a couple of years back and we're just awarded. It's a lot of acronyms, GLO, CDBG, MITMOD. What is that? Well, there's a whole write-up in my monthly report that describes the Drainage Improvement Project, which primarily starts at the Smithfield Independent School District and carries over to Harper Street to help improve some of the drainage issues on site at the school, on Harper Street and Jones Road. So part of this contract requirement is that you reaffirm that you have a civil rights, citizens participation policy, a HUD Section 3 policy, excessive force policy, a fair housing policy, and a 504 policy against discrimination. We have all these policies. We've had them before and had to submit them for other grants, federal grants. So this is just reaffirmation that we have such policies in existence to allow us to comply with GLO requirements. Did I get that okay, Alyssa? Okay, wonderful. It's our Langford representative.
Wow.
Hello again. Okay.
So approving this resolution will affirm that we have these in place.
So that's all we're doing is we're just doing a resolution to affirm that we have these in place.
Correct.
I'll do it if you want me to.
Give me
or
a
someone
motion.
else
Come
wanna
on.
do it.
Yep, come on.
Sure.
Come on.
All right. Mayor, I move that we approve a resolution regarding the civil rights policies for the GLO Community Block Grant Mitigation Method of Distribution Program number 24-065-102-E834 as described in the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
Motion has been made and second. All in favor? It is approved. Discussion and action to approve the resolution designating authorized signatories for contractual and financial documents pertaining to the GLO Community Development Block Grant Mitigation CDBG MIT Method of Distribution MOD Program Contract 24065 102 E834.
All right, Mayor and Council, this is one that, should you approve the resolution that allows me to sign on behalf of the city of Smithville for any and all things that are CDBG mid-mod related. I've neglected to tell you guys that, and girls, that it's a $3.4 million project. Bastrop County got 4.2. 3.4 of that, along with Smithville's allocation, will go to address the drainage deficiencies in that project area. So, and that's a zero match grant. So 3.2 free million dollars.
That's crazy to think that. It's wonderful. Okay, somebody give me so he can sign. There you go, Kathy.
I make a motion to approve the resolution designating authorized signatories for contractual and financial documents pertaining to the GLO Community Development Block Grant Mitigation CDBG MIT Method of Distribution MOD Program Contract number 24065 102 E834.
Second.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second. All in favor? It is approved. Discussion and action on approved amendment number 2 for the Grant Administration Services contract for the Community Development Block Grant Mitigation CDBG MIT Method of Distribution MOD Program Contract number 24065 102 E834.
Okay, Council Mayor, this was one that, the federal regulations require that engineering service contracts as well as grant management contracts reflect a dollar amount and not simply a percentage fee. GLO called us on that, and we've since addressed that requirement and have added both a percentage and a number fee for what the engineering and grant management services are going to be.
Makes sense. Give me a motion.
I make a motion that we approve amendment number 2. That we approve amendment number 2 for the Grant Administration Services Contract for the Community Development Block Grant Mitigation CDBG MIT Method of Distribution Program Contract number 24065 102 E834.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and second. All in favor? It's approved. Discussion and possible action on an opt-out meter program.
We have to go back.
Oops. I missed one.
17 and 18. Yeah, one was for the grant administration.
I'm sorry.
Number 17.
Discussion and action on approved amendment number 2 for engineering services contract for the Community Development Block Grant Mitigation CDBG MIT Method of Distribution MOD Program Contract number 24065 102 E834. Same thing, guys.
Mayor, move that we approve Amendment 2 for engineering services contracts that include a dollar amount, not in addition to the percentage figure.
Need a second?
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been second. All in favor? Okay, this time I got them all. Now we're at discussion and possible action on opt-out meter program.
You have people signed up to speak.
Okay, number 1.
Number 1 is Carol Jackson.
Hello, Carol.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mayor, do you mind if I make a comment here? Okay, and with all due respect to Carol and Jeannie Bush, I have talked to both of them outside, and their advocacy for this opt-out program is commendable and noteworthy. I think there's a general consensus, or I think there is, that we might be able to expedite this meeting if the mayor would allow me to make a motion. If it fails, then we can proceed. I would like to make the motion that we direct the city manager to reinstate a continual opt-out program for all citizens with the cost of, what is the cost, Robert?
Analog meter and setup fee is $75, $50 for the meter, $25 for the checking out, and then it's $15 a month fee, which was approved in 2021 by council action as part of the budget process.
My motion so states. You got that? Okay. Okay, so
Second.
that's my motion.
Seconded. All in favor? It happened.
Sorry, you can still speak if you want.
Well, I would prefer it to be $10 a month, which is what Jenny has paid all this time.
Yeah.
The- the- we can revisit that later. The motion's been made and I think approved.
Okay, maybe it can be.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Revisit that part later. Thank you for coming. Okay, we're on to.
So are we
Wait,
just not, do they want to let you know they don't want to talk, or we're just moving on?
Moving on.
Okay.
We're on next item. Discussion and action on a memorandum of understanding between the Texas Music Office within this Office of the Governor and the City of Smithville, Texas for maintenance of the Texas Music Industrial Directory.
Okay, Council Mayor, I've asked Jose Rivera to give a little briefing if you would like to see one. Similar to the film friendly certification that we have, this is one that the Office of the Governor offers, the Music Office. For municipalities, there's some requirements that you have to meet, but if you so approve this MOU, then we can apply and hopefully become the 61st music certified friendly community in Texas. Didn't mean to steal your thunder, but that's it on a bumper sticker.
Good evening, council and mayor and city manager. Like the city manager said, this is another way for the city to have an outlet for marketing for free and other opportunities for us to bring grants, support, and resources to the community. We had a meeting with the community and business owners a couple months ago to explore the idea if there was real interest in the community, which unanimously everybody voted. We have 10 community members that voted to have to try to pursue the certification. At this point, the only thing that we're missing is the MOU to get this. And our responsibilities basically are updating the database twice a year, which is a database that has musicians, engineers, event planner, anybody that is related to the music industry will be in that database. So in other words, it will promote local talent. It will bring money to our town and also will promote the town and the events throughout the state, putting no money down or anything other than keeping this database, which I'm gonna take care of it.
Sounds easy. I think this is a fun idea, so.
Mhm.
All right, somebody give me a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve a memorandum of understanding between the Texas Music Office within the Office of the Governor and the City of Smithville, Texas for maintenance of the Texas Music Industry Directory.
I'll second that motion.
A motion's been made and second. All in favor? Okay, I cannot wait for you to bring the first one here. Discussion and action on a resolution calling for the May 3rd, 2025 municipal general election.
Okay, Council Mayor, this is something we do every year. You have to call for the election. It's on May 3rd, 2025. There are 3 places up for election, re-election, place 1, 2, and 3. The deadline to file is February 14th. The opening is January 15th. So approving this resolution will give us a spot.
Okay,
In the
somebody give me a
elections.
motion.
It's got to be either me or Kathy. so. Which one is it? 21. I move we approve the resolution calling for the May 3rd, 2025 municipal general election.
Kathy? Will you second it?
I second.
Motion's been made and second. All in favor? Will we all approve? Thank you. Discussion and action on entering into a joint elections contract with the elections administrator of Bastrop County to conduct the City of Smithville's May 3rd, 2025 general election. Mitch, give us a motion. Kathy, stand by.
I'm making a motion.
We don't have to.
I know.
There's no conflict.
It sounds really like.
I know, whatever you want to do. Let's.
Oh, now you hurt his feelings. Come on,
Okay.
Come on, Mitch.
I make a motion to enter into a joint elections contract with the Elections Administrator of Bastrop County to conduct the City of Smithville's May 3rd, 2025 general election.
Second.
Just been made in second, all in favor. All right, approved. Discussion and action on ordinance amending section 1.09001 of the City of Smithville's Code of Ordinance to allow library board members to reside within the library service area.
Mayor, we accept a motion
Yes, please.
that we approve amended section 1.09.001 of the Smithville Code of Ordinances to expand membership on the library board to beyond the confines of the city limits and within the service area.
I need a second.
Second.
Motion's been made in second. All in favor? Perfect. It's approved. Discussion and action on approval of the financial report. This is Cynthia's favorite time.
Okay, you should have received in your packet the December financial report. As you can see, our revenues are at 4.5 million of our budget. We've improved since the last quarter, the general fund especially, mostly due to the collection of some of the property tax. People are starting to pay now. Revenues, utility funds kind of holding where it is, not much change in that one. I don't know if y'all have a lot of questions.
Not worried about anything. Good. Taxes are coming in now.
I was gonna say taxes are coming in and they're definitely coming in this month, although I have to pay all the
Yeah.
bond payments at the end of this month. So next month is gonna look a little different. but-
Hey, everybody's happy.
With this
Give me a
cold weather,
motion.
the utilities have
Yeah, utilities are just, a little bit low, but that's to be expected at this time of the year. So,
21 degrees next week.
yeah, we might make up for
Fair.
the next week. So it's gonna get cold.
Yes, I want a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the financial report.
I need a second.
Second.
Motion been made in second. All in favor? Thank you. The city council will hold an executive session pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551, Governor Code, Vernon, Texas Code, annotated in accordance with the authority contained in Section 551-074 to discuss personnel. We'll be back.
It was good timing for a long agenda.
Actually making good timing.
That was good time for a long agenda.
They went by quick.
Is it okay with you?
Yes.
I don't mind. We can say it.
Okay, so are we ready? Discussion and action on the result of the executive session. No action was taken and we'll bring it back on the March city council meeting. We'll have another executive session to discuss personnel, our city manager. Thank you. And meeting is adjourned.